My name is Carl Anthony, and I work in the automotive industry in Detroit. Sometimes that work encompasses future vehicle technology, and that's what we talk about here, for the most part anyway. This is AutoVision News Radio. Almost 2 decades ago, I took a class in college called Women in Literature. The professor, who was my English Comp 2 instructor the semester prior, taught us to look at different aspects of society and ask, where are the women? Indu Vijayan serves as AEye's Director of Product Management for Automotive Solutions, working together with the company's business and technical side to bring autonomous vehicle perception systems to market in collaboration with Tier 1 partners. She holds a BS in Technology in Computer Science from India's Amrita University and an MS in Computer Engineering from Stony Brook University. Indu is also the founder of Women in Autonomy, an organization that educates, equips, and empowers women in the automotive and auto tech spaces to become leaders and change makers. Joining us today on AutoVision News Radio, Indu Vijayan.
Hi, Carl. It's really a pleasure to be here on AutoVision News.
And before AEye, before Women in Autonomy, before your automotive career even, share with us your life back when you were in college, when you were studying for your computer science and your computer engineering degrees. What motivated you towards getting a STEM degree?
So, Carl, being in India, where I grew up, I was very much fascinated by science and mathematics. Most of my family was in either mathematics or physics or chemistry. I think that was the only thing that always inspired me. And I also, many of my cousins working in computer science industry who were at that time already in Silicon Valley. It really inspired me that how science can make so much of changes in the world, how we can bring a positive impact and using it for further advancements. So that really inspired me. And I would also say that for mathematics, I had a really very good teacher who inspired me. And she was really good in terms of how to get the really good part of people out.
Right.
And she would really inspire me to solve mathematics problems in different angles. So I think I owe it to her also.
Today, you are the Director of Product Management at AEye Incorporated. You spend a great deal of time working to provide solutions for OEMs. So, Indu, what types of challenges are OEMs facing today, and how are you helping them solve those challenges?
We are right now, the industry is in a stride to basically have higher levels of autonomy. This is a level, you can think of it as SA level 3 and beyond in both of these verticals, commercial vehicles and automotive. And the main things they're trying to see is how can they have better understanding of the scene so that they can have autonomous driving at higher speed levels and have safety while doing autonomous driving under the circumstances where humans have always been the best at this point of time. It's time for the AI systems to be better. And what are the sensing technology out there to make it work and make it happen? One is making sure that it's a reliable, high quality sensor they can use. Second thing is it going to meet the performance so they can really give something to the customer they will be happy to use, and it'll really keep the safety of the people using it also in mind. So these are the two main things OEMs are trying to tackle, and that's where my main focus is working with our partners to get there for the OEMs.
Back in January, our Live with AEye virtual CES 2022 broadcast, one of the central themes of that was AEye's technology and how it's a game changer, and in particular, how AEye has moved from passive to adaptive LiDAR, which puts the intelligence inside the sensor. And this enables the LiDAR to adapt its behavior according to the changing environment. So, Indu, why is this active approach more effective for real-world driving?
Just simply put, if you were to look at traditional passive LiDARs, I can draw a comparison there. Passive LiDARs basically serially take data and pass it out to the application layer of software. But if you were to closely look at how our adaptive LiDAR works, it works similar to how our human eyes work, where it's adapting to different scenes and focusing where it's more pertinent and more required information is going to your brain and processing it.
Right.
So just to give you an example, how the adaptive LiDAR is structured, it is first structured on a modular hardware. So it's a software-based solution where you can change hardware components as required for different verticals, different markets. Then on top of that, we have this unique software platform which can work with the perception layers, the path planning layers, and application software. So there is feedback loop going into the sensor saying, I'm not getting enough information from a specific scene, and it can then use a specific scanning method or a pattern to get more information in that scene. So it's adapting to the scene and being situationally aware in that particular manner. Another key thing with the adaptive LiDAR is that it's not working in silo. It's working with other maps, camera, radar, or IMU, or any other feedback that you can get from to give value, complementary value from a sensing methodology. So you can think of it as it's nighttime, camera is not able to get information beyond specific range. It can immediately cue the LiDAR to say, oh, can you give more information in this specific area? And then the LiDAR can give that information. So this is a complementary method of working together so that the autonomous driving systems have higher levels of intelligence to work from there.
Yes.
Another key fact also is that once it's software defined, it helps us to have more updates, that is over the air updates. So instead of having to recall these sensors, if there is a bug or anything of the sort, you have the opportunity to update it by over the air fixes, which is of course validated earlier and then updated onto the cars, which is on the field.
On that note, Indu, I want to encourage our listeners to research the AEye shadow van. And if that shadow van is ever in a city near you, or you are at an event where the AEye shadow van is there, most definitely take a ride, because what Indu is talking about with this intelligent LiDAR system, this adaptive LiDAR system, the shadow van allows you to see that firsthand and in real time. I took a ride in it a couple months ago and just absolutely really opened my eyes to the power of AEye's technology. With that said, Indu, you have a range of industry partners that you work with. Particularly, you do a lot of work with Continental,
who is a industry leader.
Yes.
And has manufacturing capabilities which reduces cost and drive volume. And they have been in this industry for 150 years at this point and been in the LiDAR about 15 to 20 years or so. So it's very interesting to see how technology perspective, how we have transferred technology to a company who's then scaling it at an industrial level, making it more safe, more scalable, and more ruggedized, that is more robust for the levels required for automotive and commercial vehicles.
So that's everything with AI. Let's talk about women in autonomy now. What inspired you to become the founder of that organization?
So Women in Autonomy was founded in 2019 at AEye with the women here at AEye. So the main reason was because of the fact that I've been in the automotive industry for 11 years and it's increasingly finding myself alone in meeting rooms as a sole woman. When I go into partner discussions, OEM discussions across industry, I started seeing that. And to me, it felt a little bit odd that we need more representation, more diversity. That led me to think about having a organization to bring more women who's in the industry, wanted to bring everyone together and inspire and empower all the new generation women and other people who want to be part of the automotive industry and bring them to the forefront and make them take the lead going forward.
And I remember that, Indu, when we first met a couple of years ago. I remember you telling me how there was a lot of things that you had gotten used to in automotive. You got used to the travel. You got used to the long working hours. You got used to how just competitive the automotive industry is. But the one thing that you couldn't get used to was just the fact that when you would go to events and you would go to conferences and meetings, that there were very few, if any, women at the table. And so with that thought in mind, Indu, what programs and events does Women in Autonomy offer to bring women in the industry together?
It's very interesting, Carl. And over the period of time, I do see some changes in the industry. So some of it includes industry events where we bring the women who have been beacons in their own fields and bring them for panel discussions or talks where rest of the women in the industry can come together, hear from them, get inspired. And also it acts as a networking event. So this is pre-COVID era, but now we have moved into more virtual scenes and getting more and more traction from across the world in these events. Other one, which is to me one of the most important ones, is the educational series, where one of them is the Accelerate series, where we bring professional development sessions in terms of communication, in terms of elevating your own personal brand. As you know, women generally undersell themselves.
Right, right.
Few others are also like Women at the Wheel, again, talking about the career journeys of leading women. Next thing that I want to introduce is Under the Hood, which is basically talking about bringing working female engineers who's really at the core of finding the solutions for the technical challenges happening in the industry and bring them out, talk about it, that so we can really bring women together and feel inspired for what is really out there and how they're solving it.
When you look back at your life, how have other women around you, either at AEye or at Women in Autonomy or maybe somewhere else in your life that you met, all of these women around you, what insights have you learned from them over the years and how have they inspired you?
So specifically within the auto industry, there are a lot of women. For example, Mary Barra is like a real inspiration in the automotive industry itself, how she has led GM from where it was 10, 20 years before to now where it is, and leading all the conversation related to having autonomous driving, having Super Cruise, having EVs by 2030. She's leading the discussions in all of this in the automotive industry. So she has been a really good inspiration from that perspective. And there's so many other women outside and within the automotive industry. For example, Jen here has been a good inspiration, how she is, she's very resilient and goes forward in my company, for example, to get things done in terms of keeping the focus for women in autonomy as well as for other subjects.
Yes, and I have to tell you, Indu, that from all of us here at AutoVision News, we see you and Jennifer Deitch and Aaliyah Charney, all three of you from AEye and Women in Autonomy. We see you as women to look up to and to aspire to be like. I have three nieces by virtue of being married to Danielle, and you are the type of women that I would want my nieces to aspire to be. So as you talk about these other women in your life, know that there are people that see you in the exact same light.
Thank you, Carl.
Well, no doubt, Indu, you have a very busy schedule between AEye and Women in Autonomy, but let's say that you have the weekend off, no distractions, no email, no phone, no nothing, and you're going to take a road trip. Where would you go and who would you take with you and why?
If it was a day off from work, of course, I'm going to go with my family, my husband, and I would straight go to the Sierras or Angel Adam Wilderness for a hike or a backpack, because it just suits me, like in the sense nature is very calming, and that's what I would do. Drive there, do a backpack, and have a nice, calm, relaxed weekend there.
Indu, from all of us here at AutoVision News, we want to wish you the best of luck going forward. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us and your thought leadership, and I hope to see you at a future conference one day here sooner than later.
Thank you, Carl. It's a pleasure to be on AutoVision News. Thank you so much.
For more information on AEye and adaptive LiDAR, email info@aeye.ai. That's info@aeye.ai. And AEye is spelled AEYE. info@aeye.ai. You can also follow AEye on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. To learn more about Women in Autonomy, visit the organization's website, womeninautonomy.com. That's womeninautonomy.com. In Detroit with Indu Vijayan, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.